Really?
When I like the book, there's nothing to say other than let's keep reading.
All right. I think we are live. Ready? Welcome to Books We Never Read.
Except for those we have.
I'm Jason.
I'm Nicole.
And I think this is the first time I've won in like a long time.
That may or may not be true, but we're excited to see you here today. I totally forgot how to start the show. We missed 1 week and like everything's wrecked. Yeah. So anyways, welcome to the book club. Today we are discussing chapters 1 through 22 of Guns of the Dawn by Adrian Tchaikovsky. So if you have not read that far, you are definitely going to want to stop the video and go and get caught up and then join us on the replay. If you're joining us live, chat us up in the little chat box. If you're catching us on a replay, chat us up in the discussion box. I know that we're going to want to relive this one forever and ever and ever. Because it's already just so amazing. Mm-hmm. Just so good.
The book?
The book.
Yeah.
So anyways, we are available on YouTube Music as a podcast in case you want to hear us and not see us. We are on little old Instagram for the memes and little reading reminders. We are on Fable to keep the discussion going in between shows. Mm-hmm. And apparently...
some of my younger friends have been telling me for a long time that we should be on TikTok. So I made a TikTok this morning thinking I was going to like multi-stream this. But you have to have 1,000 followers on TikTok to stream anything.
We don't even have 1,000 followers here.
We don't even have 1,000 followers here. But so I think my plan is to just keep posting videos of the dog. And just be like, help us get to 1,000 because like that's just what we're trying to do. People will do that.
Poor Atlas is
Baby.
just getting pimped out. So what's Shelby saying about choice of book? I can't read it from here.
So Shelby's saying that my choice of book is winning, even though it hasn't been rated yet.
I want to clear this up for the record that Peggy chose Name of the Rose.
You can't just be dogging out book club members like that. That's 50% of the club.
Peggy chose this. There must be consequences for Name of the Rose.
Time out.
And it shan't be me.
I don't know if y'all know this, but that's why we took last week off, is because we were recovering. I'm just kidding. That's not true. We lost internet because it snowed a wee bit.
For us, it wasn't snow. It was all ice. Yeah. It's been terrible. So anyway.
So yeah, and I just want to point out that today we have some of our newer book club members who have joined us that are also on Fable.
Welcome.
I'm just recognizing names out there. So that's very cool. Welcome.
In.
All right.
Okay.
You want to talk about it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, first thing I want to say is I was yesterday years old when I realized that the narrator for the audiobook is the same woman who narrated the Kristen Hanna book.
Okay, I wondered. I recognized her voice, but I looked her up and I didn't see anything.
It's her German accent that gave it away. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Like, did you confirmed?
No, I'm just quite certain.
Oh, I don't think it's her.
You don't think so?
No, because I also thought it was her.
What are the odds that two people have the same German accent? It's not that funny.
Your face.
For the Nightingale? Nightingale?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Yeah. Anyway, y'all, somebody can double check that for us, but I'm pretty sure it was her. Or someone with a German accent. Anyway, I am definitely enjoying this book. Is it the mind-blowing read that Children of Time was? No. Not yet. But this book is doing something different. Like, Children of Time was like exploring something. Like it was this like what if thing. Mm-hmm. And this book is almost like a fantasy version of like a Victorian tragedy. I was actually talking with one of the book club members about that this week, about like if you're not into like Victorian, if you're not like here for Pride and Prejudice, this may not like really be your book. But like there's some like it's like written in the same style. Mm-hmm. And there's this whole like, what if the man who's a jerk to you really is the one who loves you? And like, I'm tired of that. But
are you talking about Kristen?
Yes.
Okay, so I have thoughts about that. And like, so yes, I do think he is in love with her. I do not think she is in love with him, but loves him because he's the only person she can talk to about the things that she's seeing. And like he taught her realities of the world
Yeah.
that she wouldn't see elsewhere. And she knows that, I don't know. That's a weird situation.
Yeah. Well, I'm just pointing out that that's like a very Victorian romance
Love
situation.
your abuser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I just want to remind everybody, because we did miss last week, so we have
Like,
2
does
weeks
he have
worth of
someone
reading.
locked up in the attic? Hashtag Jane Eyre.
I hope not. But he is responsible, at least in her mind at the beginning of the book, for her father's death.
Yeah.
And then now we're just like, oh, it's cool though, because like you're the only person I can talk to.
It's not cool because of that. It's cool because they made an alliance. And she has realized that like good and evil, morality and immorality are not these clear lines that she thought they were growing up. Like it's really cool that I think that we have like seen her progression of understanding of reality as she has understood it at each step of the way.
Yeah.
And that has been such a well done thing by Tchaikovsky.
I think you're onto something about like realizing that how the world is, and at one point she says in one of her letters, I think to Kristen, like you're the only person that has like these shades of color, right? Like that understands like these shades of gray. Like yeah, you're skimming off the top, but you're like it could be worse or something. I don't know, right? I'm not sure I buy that argument, but this like growing up that she has and understanding that how the world, like just the reality of it, is something that like I think maybe everybody experiences, but like in my life dealing in government, like I guess growing up as a kid, I was like, oh, those people know what they're doing. Those people are me.
Right.
Right? And I have no idea what I'm
Right.
doing. And everybody's just kind of bumping along and doing their best. And it's kind of been interesting to watch that sort of like realization of what's going on, especially with some of the officers that she has, because like you want to believe that people in those situations
That they know
literally
the plan.
control life and death, that they know the plan, but
And
there's
they
like the cowardly
don't.
guy and the guy who's like halfway trying to unalive himself until he finally does, you know.
I liked one of the scenes when Emily found herself in charge in the middle of battle. And in her brain, she's saying, what do we do next? And then she hears someone calling out orders, and she's like, oh, I did that. Like, that was me, but what do I do next? And then she's calling out orders, and she's like, calling out orders, obeying these orders, the whole time wondering, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And I thought that was such a cool scene and very realistic.
But that's something that like we've sort of been talking about in like a unrelated context, just sort of like paralysis by there's so many options, and like, so what do I do? And like, so this is exactly the kind of person that you want. Like they're just acting, you know, like it doesn't even necessarily, at that point, it doesn't even make sense. And so you're just sort of like doing, but doing is better than like freezing up, because there are some people that you see here that like freeze up and then they usually get shot. So
Yeah.
let's jump back in here real
catch
quick.
us up.
So Shelby was saying, I think the love interests are meant to draw contrast between her old life and her new life since joining the army. The expected choice or her choice is what I see happening. And Mr. Franklin agrees. The quartermaster thinking he was going to go out and do his part was kind of funny to me. I actually really like him.
I hated that whole, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You are going to get everybody killed.
I really thought that this was like a fast track way to like kill that character off, because like he randomly decides he loves this girl in a very Victorian fashion again. Decides he's going to like go to battle with his 5 pistols loaded and shoved into his pants, which you should not do, because there are no, I don't know if you know this, but there are no safeties on this kinds of gun, right? So, and I was just like, oh my God, he's going to die. He's going to die. He's going to die. And then like they do a very convincing job of making you think he is dying. And then there's this epic scene where he like gets up. Anyway, I saw that in like a very Matrix style, and I would love to see that again. I would love to see that in film. But it was very funny. And the whole part afterwards where he's like, she tells me I'm the only person to be shot in the fat or whatever. And then if I'd been a thinner man, I wouldn't have been shot at all.
Well, that's the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The doctor tells him that.
Yeah.
But I think that part was very humorous.
That was very funny. Now, speaking of who did get shot in the pants,
The sergeant, master sergeant.
Who Stucky or yeah, get out of here.
So that's another, like, I always hate having that come up in books, and this is again kind of reminds me of like the Nightingale, but it's sort of, you know, contrasting. I don't like that so far our interactions with the Denlanders has been like they're noble and they're like not molesters and they're just doing their thing. They're people too, right? So like it's complicated. But the doctor who's like really an engineer, it turns out, or whatever, he says like, you know, like we see you as a soldier, and so like we don't even see you that way. I think that conversation is very interesting, and that's really what this book is about, like what your identity is and how you see yourself, and how you just like turn on this other thing. And in that scene with the master sergeant, they like before she kills him, Tchaikovsky even says that like that the master sergeant could like feel the change in her, where she was no longer a woman, now she was a soldier, and then she like gets it done, you know.
Yeah, Sharky.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm glad she did what she needed to do. That was ridiculous.
Peggy says his 5 pistols are the guy holding up his stereo system. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like that's very funny. I like that. Yeah. So Shelby says that she felt like that plot twist of, I guess, the quartermaster surviving and doing all that stuff kind of came at the same time because the fighting was becoming repetitive. The last couple chapters of this reading did get very, like, it was very quick. Like, they were out, they were back again, they were out, they were back again. And it does a good job of, like, exhausting you.
Yeah.
For a reason.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a very clever way to write. It wasn't like, oh, and then we've been here 5 months. He, like, in a very quick way, drags you through a certain amount of time, and I thought that was clever.
And it also helped us believe why they wouldn't have realized that they were walking into a trap. You know, like, they had been doing this, and it's Emily that notices these slight changes in patterns. She notices that way better than anyone else does. She noticed that something was different about their guns, even though no one believes her.
Yeah. So what's the deal there?
I don't know.
Okay, got it.
And she noticed that the pattern of them staying down, she noticed it was a trap. And
Yeah.
so I think he had to run us through several battles.
Yeah.
So that we would also, be on board with that.
I think what's interesting about this is, like, so far Emily is like not a hero, and she's not like a chosen one. She's like literally a woman who has been made to be a soldier, and that's it. And I love that kind of story. I'm very tired a lot of like chosen one types. I'm tired of, you know,
Yeah, she chose herself.
You know, I've been joking on the she did. I've been joking on the Fable that I have a feeling that we're the baddies in this one.
Yeah.
And if we are to believe the Denlanders, then that does appear to be true. But I kind of thought we were doing like a Dark Lord thing, and I thought the king was going to be some like basically Sauron, and we were the orcs and didn't realize it or something. And like there is that sort of element to it, I suppose, because it turns out we are the invaders. But it's really just about this woman being thrown into this tragedy where they're just like dying on repeat and destroying their countries for this king's like, because the king could just be like, all right, psych, I'm just not going to claim your country.
Yeah.
He could.
Yeah.
But they're just dying over and over and over again for this like literally useless piece of swamp. And there are many historical parallels to this.
Yes, there are. And, you know, we're on her side because that's the side that we see. And that's very realistic for wars. You know, the people themselves that are fighting don't typically have a personal reason to fight. They are fighting someone else's war. This was someone else's problem and someone else's command. And they are just human beings caught up in this and doing what they have to do so that they can survive.
Yeah.
And I think that that's shown very well so far throughout the book.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks about war, is the people who face the consequences are not the ones who started it.
Yeah. So Peggy says the little furry people don't think the swamp is useless. And you're right, the Indigenes or whatever the Denlanders call them. But that part's really interesting. Like, and if we have this like fantasy element that we never explore, I kind of like that too. Like if it's just like, oh no, but there were indigenous people and they got caught in the middle, and there were these ruins, but like, we don't know. Okay,
Well,
but I kind of want to know.
they're gonna go tee-hee-hee their little way to what's his head and let him know that she's alive.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know anyone's name.
His name is Merlin.
No.
Marlin. Yes, Marin. It's like that. It's
Yeah.
basically Merlin because the little guy saying Merle.
Yeah. That's not how she pronounces it, though. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I haven't seen it in writing. I've
Yeah,
only
that's
done an
what's
audiobook on
confused
this one.
me is
yeah,
that
Malin.
I'm
Malin.
reading now.
Yeah.
That's
She does a
Merlin.
fantastic voice for the little indigenous voices in the audiobook.
Well, I was hearing like, Mom!
Mom! Yeah. And he's a very cool character too. I really kind of enjoyed where we first see him, where like, oh, he's one of these like savages or whatever, and then it turns out he's really a doctor, or like a researcher,
Professor.
right? Yeah.
But he's like lived
And like
there.
this is his life, and that's why he's here. And like he kind of has questionable loyalty. He has no loyalty to the Denlanders, but he's willing to endanger our side for the benefit of the Indigenes.
Well, because they had nothing to do with this.
Right. Yeah.
Both the Denlanders and we are
Yeah.
the bad
Wisconsin.
guys here.
Yeah.
You know,
Lascannese.
just tearing up this land
Yeah.
that these other people are living in. Putting them in danger. I really liked the humanity of the moment when they tumble into like their little village, and so Emily stops, waves her little white flag, and she and that guy work out a way to not fight right there.
Yeah. And then he ends up dying.
Yeah.
And she's like, y'all killed him? And she's like, no. That dude's like, no, y'all killed him.
I mean,
Yeah.
but her understanding of the world is very natural as to how it's been shown to her.
Right.
She could never imagine that she would kill a good person.
Yeah.
She's only killing bad guys.
All right, so Mr. Franklin says the swamp is doing a lot of thematic heavy lifting. And I agree with that. That's true. The setting here does a lot to hammer home the sort of like hopelessness of it all.
I was so cold yesterday, waiting by the back door for the dog to go in and out and potty and all that stuff. And it made me think, like, what's worse? The heat of the swamp or the coldness of this?
The heat of the swamp.
And I don't know, like in coldness, you just kind of break down and fall asleep. In heat, you just get mad, you know? Mad and dehydrated.
My philosophy is that you can always get warmer.
Well, not if your little fingers are falling off.
But you can it is throughout history, it is much more difficult to get cooler than it is to get warmer.
Well,
You know, and so like at this time, I would pick cold. The time of the book, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
So now that I'm thinking about this narrator maybe being the one from the Nightingale, I'm starting to think more about like, you know, the Nightingale was really interesting because it was about like the women's war. It was about the women
Yeah.
who stayed at home during the occupation of World War II and their struggles. And this sort of like takes the women's war and flips it on its head, right? Like what if we brought the women to the war
Yeah.
instead of the war to them? And I think it's a very like clever inversion on that like very old story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've heard nothing from Mary or Alice
Right.
letter-wise. All we've gotten are letters from Kristen.
Yeah.
And the last letter that we see go out is from Fat Boy telling Kristen she hadn't come back and we don't
Right.
expect any more too.
Right. Whoops.
That boy's going to show up out there.
What's interesting is like we've now had our second week. We need to announce a new book today. We've now had like our 2 weeks of reading, and I have no idea where this story's going.
I didn't know where it was going when I started it. I had no idea what this book was going to
Sure,
be
but
about.
like usually by the second week, I'm like, no, I don't know, and like it's just kind of like a This kind of reminds me a little bit of Elder Race, also by Tchaikovsky, where it's just sort of like a study of a world.
Right.
And there are some very interesting interviews with Adrian Tchaikovsky on YouTube where he talks about sort of like how he writes. And what he usually does is like creates a world and sees like what story it tells him, and then he tells that story. And I think that's very cool. And if this is just sort of an exploration of a concept, I think that's fine. You know, whereas I feel like Children of Time was more of like a standard story, I guess. There was sort of a chosen spider, etc. You know, like there was like the whole thing.
Yeah, I had no idea what this was going into it, and I've just loved every second of it. Like, it reads like historical fiction, and every once in a while, a wizard comes out and heat blasts the enemy, you know, and
Yeah.
and that pulls you like back into the fact that like, oh, this isn't quite our world. But like, all the descriptions have just been so perfect. It's like watching a movie.
Yeah.
He's such a good writer. It just like, I just love it. I just read anything by him. Mr. Franklin had posted in the Fable something about, it was like in one of the early chapters, about just kind of tropes and war stories and stuff like that. And I was wondering if that's a genre that he reads pretty often. And if so, have you read The Things We Carry by Tim O'Brien? It is so, The Things They Carried. So good.
Yeah.
Roderick, what if Roderick is alive?
Yeah.
How would they? Yeah, he could be just like kidnapped, like or not kidnapped. That's not what it's called anymore. What is it called? Hostage, stolen, prisoner of war. Thank you. He might be POW'd like her.
Yeah.
What if she sees Roderick?
I think he's dead.
Oh.
I think like I don't really. Part of me thinks that like the way this story ends is there's just like a peace and no one wins, and it's the end, and it's sort of just like World War I, and it's just all tragic and like, thank you for your time.
Yeah. Isn't that all war?
Well, sometimes you gain a benefit, or somebody high above you
Somebody.
gains a benefit.
But for the people,
Yeah.
and that's all we're really seeing here, is the people. The people never win.
No.
It never matters. They are stuck in this war-torn land that they have to rebuild.
Right.
They all have trauma. They all have physical, like, you know, losses at this point, and so not everyone can help rebuild and get everything back together. And then the countries themselves can't afford to, like, also take care of their people at this point because they spent all their money waging a war, and it's terrible. It never works out for anybody.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, it's so normal, especially in like the fantasy genre, to like glorify war, or to have like, we were talking about this yesterday. I saw a funny Instagram reel that was like, what if like some country bumpkin became the chosen one? And that's like a normal trope, but then that guy like fits in with all the nobility and stuff, and like nobody ever bats an eye. But it was basically like, what if some dude from West Virginia was like the guy, and he's like, what y'all got over here? And like, I never seen something fancy like this. And anyway, I think that would be like a fun story, because it would show like the reality of like how that would progress, but also for him to like show up on like an industrial war and be like, oh my god, this is horrifying. Because we spend a lot of time having our like hero go off and like slay orcs and stuff, and we don't talk about like how just like gross and weird, you know, that situation is. That's something I actually really like about the Lord of the Rings movies, is they kind of, especially like with the bits you see of the orcs and with Saruman and all that, they do a very good job of like showing the industrialization of it, and just like the nastiness of like having to fight the orcs and everything. And it's not just like, and then like Rohan rode in and saved the day and everybody was heroes. Like, it's kind of horrifying, you know. And the books don't really quite capture it that way, I feel like. Yeah. You were talking about his writing style. And I said this maybe like 2 weeks ago, thinking that we were still going to have our show. But like he does a very good job of not telling you things, but just showing you things. And one of my favorite details from the first part of the book is when they go off to find the Gaia because he's stolen Mary. No,
That
Mary,
was
Alice.
a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But he's stolen Alice. And anyway,
Oh, I forgot about that.
So what's our main character's name? Emily.
Emily.
Okay, so the guy is talking to Emily, and he says something like, "Oh, you're like a man." And Alice is like, "Bah!" And just that little detail of like how even in this bad situation,
Siblings
Alice
are siblings.
still like laughed at that was just like one of the like so much about Alice from that one like 3-word sentence. Alice guffawed. Like whatever the deal was. He used some weird word for it, but like. She just like tittered to herself a little bit.
And Emily brushed it off as nervous laughter.
Yeah, and she chose to ignore it. Yeah. But I just thought that was such a genius little detail that tells you so much about Alice's mindset.
That was so long ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Emily, every once in a while wonders, like, can she ever go back home and be herself? No.
Yeah.
Like, you'll always be a little something different, but that's every time you walk out of the door, whether you're going to war or work or school or, whatever the next thing that the day has planned for you. You never quite come back exactly the same. It's just usually a little more gradual, than one day you left and the next day or next year or next, if she comes back at all, comes back differently.
Yep.
You have a book crush.
Nice. They're also talking about just like crime dramas generally at the moment, and Mr. Franklin has suggested several crime dramas. One of them was up instead of this book, but I think Atlas picked, and we got this one. But I am definitely interested in doing that because we don't really do like the lawyer genre ever. Well, we did that one time. It was that weird Harlan Coben book. Yeah.
I thought about that book the other day. It was not good, but it wasn't as bad as Name of the Rose.
True.
Or the book which shan't be named later. Anytime I type that one out, I put an asterisk for the A. Anyway.
We have not picked the next book yet, but we will be.
Got some on my list.
It's a Nicole pick, yeah. While we're talking about things, I don't know if y'all have seen the news, but Brandon Sanderson, who wrote, we read Trust of the Emerald Sea, and then I've read a bunch of the Words of Radiance series, whatever those are, and Stormlight Archives, and we did some of the Mistborns, but he has signed a deal with Apple TV so that he can make first Mistborn and then Stormlight Archives, and so he's writing those for the next 5 months, and it's very exciting.
Oh, yeah, Shelby makes a good point. Atlas picked this book, not you.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I guess, but I put 2 books on the list. She can have credit. That's fine. Yeah. All right, so one of our regular viewers is saying that it's unfortunate this story is not anchored with a real historical event. And I do think there would be like a certain punch to that. And of course you would lose like the wizards and the indigenes and all that. And so I guess it depends on like where we're going. I'll reserve judgment for that. Like, is this a story that could have been just done in the real world without the fantasy elements? So far, yes. And so if we have fantasy elements to no end, I guess I do kind of have questions about that. But this could have been like an All Quiet on the Western Front situation, and that's it, But then again, I guess if there's like a historical event, it is like at least semi-historical if you're now drafting women and doing all that kind of stuff. So you would have to play with it a bit.
Right. The spreadsheet must be accurate.
Indeed. Well, I honestly don't know that I have that much to say. Right before we got on, Nicole was saying that when we really dislike the book, we have so much to say, and when we like it, we just want to like shut up so we can go read.
No. I need to work on, like, work my way around that. Find more things to talk about when I love a book.
Yeah. Are there any good things on the Fable that maybe we missed?
Oh, we'll probably... So, yeah, Dr. Lamb is an engineer, and I saw someone in the chat say maybe he engineered the new guns.
Yeah. At one point, they reference them as magic guns. I think Emily says that. And I don't know if we have any evidence to think that they're magic, per se, but...
Well, and she says something about, like, how precise they are. And I'm assuming muskets are not really that precise.
No, that's why you line up. Like, let's talk about that for a second. Like, what a wild situation that is, where you literally line up and just, like, send a wall of lead at each other. But yeah. And that's why at one point, whenever Emily's, like, company is charging, one of the Denlin guys says, like, stop shooting on your own. Like, you're supposed to all shoot at one time. Because when you're shooting, like, one at a time, you can all be, like, ducking. In theory, but then when it's like just a wall of lead, you can't duck. And this is something that carries over from like bow warfare. You're supposed to do like a whole volley because you get more bang for your buck that way.
Peggy did bring up a good idea in chapter 15. She is wondering if this war was started as a way to stamp out magic. Skavian said the warlocks are almost all dead and the enemy has no warlocks because they killed the source of magic.
Yeah, they killed their own king, and there's something about like this bloodline.
And Dr. Lamb is saying that they did not kill their own king, that he was
Correct.
assassinated.
Our king killed their king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, but I danced with him. He was lovely. So, anyway, I was super sad at Elise.
Yeah. Yeah, she was a cool
just
character.
Day one, just off right out the bat. That
Here,
was devastating.
here towards the end of this reading, we do have a good new sidekick. Can't remember that one's name either, but the new second is
the one
cool.
that the shopkeeper is in love with.
Yeah.
Or storekeeper.
Yeah.
She's an actress, but she told... Oh, no, that was the other girl, the new ensign who's a seamstress, a tailor. Gotcha. I mixed them up. I mean, it's nice to see some good, strong women.
Yeah.
Doing just as well as the men do.
Yeah. I'm going to think some more about looking at this book through the lens of the Nightingale. Because, like, a lot of the early book was actually very Nightingale. Except instead of having, like, Nazis occupying, it was your own government sort of occupying, right? There's a lot of parallels in the story there. It's just like, what if we did it ourselves instead of somebody else? And that's interesting. I'll think on that some more.
This has just been so good.
Well, good.
Just so well written.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know where we're going, and I didn't know when I started.
Yeah.
But by chapter 2, I was like all in.
Yeah, I don't really mind that. You know, like sometimes with the will of the many and the strength of the few, we kind of had that complaint that like you didn't know where you were going until the middle of the books. For each of them, you just kind of had no idea, and that kind of bothered me in those because I was like, what am I? It was so big that I didn't know what I was supposed to be paying attention to, and once the story like locked in and you understood what you're doing, I was then invested. I was like, okay, I want to know. But here, I just want to know about like Emily and the situation. And we've done a very good job of being invested in what is ultimately like a very small story about her and her life. It's not grand politics. We're not discovering new worlds. We're not doing all this stuff. We're not bringing the country down. We're like trying to make it out the end of this.
Gosh, you calling it a small story. I mean, it really is. There's just where they're at,
Yeah.
6 other, groups like hers at least.
Well, at one point they referenced that there's only like 600 soldiers.
Yeah.
Like in this whole situation at the swamp.
Well, it's because they've all died.
I know, but that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole other front, with their own people. I mean, she won't be any great story or known figure after this.
Right.
She was just one other person doing the same thing that the rest of them were doing.
What if she dies? What if that's the end of the story? That'd be rough.
That'd be realistic.
I'd like that.
I mean, she's in enemy territory, and how many people make it out of that?
Mm-hmm. I don't like want her to die, to be clear. I'm just saying, like, if that's the way it goes, that's the way it goes. God, I referenced All Quiet on the Western, all along the. Okay, good. There's another movie that's basically about like the last dude to die in World War One, and I can't remember. I don't think it's 1912.
Oh, is it that single? It was all like a single
No, that's
shot?
1912.
Okay.
Or 1914. I can't remember which number it is, but it's another one that came out about the same time. But like it's just sort of like about this kid, and then he dies for no reason. Like he dies after they know that there's going to be a ceasefire on the next day. You know.
War is just so dumb.
Yeah. Well, so part of me was thinking like, what if we just like had our like champion go out and like, or like at some point they referenced one of the big push as like a coin flip, right? Like we're gonna do this big push, but it's a coin flip. And part of me was like, well, you could just do like a coin flip, or you could do like in Troy where you have like Achilles go out and fight like your hero or whatever, or you know David and Goliath. But ultimately, like war is dumb, but it's always like the lowest common denominator. We come up with all these systems to try to solve problems, but really what it boils down to is, can I beat up the other guy? And then you do what the guy who can beat you up says.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just like this like dark underbelly of it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, the doctor died from a bug bite.
Yeah. Well, and his wife was interesting because she would not refer to herself as a doctor. She's like, I'm the doctor's wife, but like, she's a doctor.
Yeah,
You know,
he's a doctor
but
now.
again, that's sort of like a roles question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that might help her deal with the fact that she is unequipped for the job.
Yeah.
If she refuses to call herself a doctor, then she doesn't have to accept responsibility for all these people who are dying that she can't save. Like, that might be kind of how she's looking at it. Look, I am not a doctor. I haven't trained. I don't have the skill.
Yeah.
I'm the doctor's wife, just out here patching people up. And my husband died from a bug bite.
I think one of the other tragedies is how often people keep referencing the fact that they'll get paid someday. Bro, y'all ain't get paid. Never. Shame.
This is just terrible.
Well,
Let's go read.
yeah.
Let's go finish this book.
Yeah. All right, so we will try to get a new book picked and announced soon. We will be here next Sunday at the same time to wrap this book up. We do have a TikTok. You can go follow that. Help be towards my 1,000 people or whatever. It's called Books We Never Read. We should be the only one. I didn't actually check. No idea. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, new book. So if you're trying to, sway my pick, time to start swaying. I'm gonna start taking bribes.
Funny. All right. Well, we'll see y'all next time.
Happy reading, everybody.
Bye.
Stay warm.